Hi, I'm Fran with Stampendous, and Laura's here with me behind the camera.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, and I wanted to show you all of the really interesting things that I'm doing with jewelry that bring together stamping into making all of your jewelry. So let's take a look over here. We did a workshop at CHA, and we started by making really interesting, colorful backgrounds with our creative palette rectangles and all these wonderful neon inks. And you can see the range of colors, whether you want bright or pastel. And that gave us our backgrounds. Okay, and then I designed a new clear stamp set that's called Eclectic Charms. And it's got a little bit of everything for all these different interests. And these work in miniature for any of your jewelry sizes. So if you had a bezel like this, what we found was the easiest way was to ink the rim, turn it over and make your impression, and then stamp within that to decide how you want to decorate your particular jewelry piece. And so take a look over here. These had the creative palette backgrounds, but then sometimes you might want to come back with color pencils, or on some of these using a brush, or even your Fantastics. I came back in with the neon paints and just painted in. So you can really get some interesting variations.
Awesome.
Okay, and then we get over to here. If you're die cutting the pieces or if you're hand trimming, you get your piece all cut to where it fits inside this little bezel. And the important thing is, if you don't seal the paper, you end up getting this look. Whereas with any inks, you don't have to have stays on. That's the thing that's nice, whether you want to use your Memento or VersaFine. And once it's sealed, you're going to get this kind of a beautiful look from it. There's any number of sealers of glue or decoupage that are going to work. And the key is that you've got to cover the back, the front, and even the sides, and maybe several coats. So Laura's idea, I think, was the best. If you paint the back with glue, paint the edges, and then drop it into the bezel, if you continue from there, you're really getting the glue all the way up tight around that edge and everything, and getting a really good seal. So, yeah. So once you've sealed it and your glue has dried, if you want to add things like the new party fragments or any of your crushed glass glitter, you can simply fill some of that in.
Now, did you glue that down? Did you glue it when you put it in?
I didn't.
Like, I usually sprinkle it on the wet glue. Well,
There
while
you
this
go.
is wet,
Oh,
while it's wet in here, I sprinkle them and I move them with a toothpick till they're where I want, and then they dry stuck and they don't float in the resin that way.
That's perfect,
Yeah,
because
so
then it doesn't like block.
Right, because I don't want it in front of his
right
face.
on the bird's
Yeah,
head.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of a
So
good...
right while your glue is still damp on that last layer,
yeah.
you can get that secured in. Okay, and even like this one, we put some little gears in there. And yeah, you might put that in again while the glue is tacky.
Right.
Is the perfect time.
Because then it doesn't float away.
Yeah. So then I'm just going to quickly talk about, let me move some things over. If you have a resin that has the two parts like this in the plunger, or whether you're working out of your bottles, the key is that you have to get equal parts, and then do your stirring, and you don't want to be so frantic with it that you create bubbles. But if you completely stir for 2 minutes, you know, with the amount that would fit in here, you're good. And then it's okay to let it just rest, and that means the bubbles are kind of surfacing, and it goes from being kind of pearly to clear. And so 2 minutes of mixing. Let it sit 5 minutes or something, and then by the time you're putting it into the bezel, you're just gently kind of dripping it in, and that's, you know, less bubbles. So I'll mention this one. Laura, you notice that this one's a little bit different. On this one, instead of sealing it with the glues or paper sealer, I did packing tape.
Oh, did that work?
I did it on both sides, and I cut it smaller so that I actually have a seal on the edge. But you can't see that it's smaller necessarily once you put it in there. And actually, Jen with ice resin had a good tip that if you wanted to put glitter all the way around that edge, that would fill it in.
Just fill it up,
yeah. So you want to secure it down to the bottom because you can see on this one, this was a packing tape one, and it floated up a little bit. But it's still
floaty
nice
kitty,
smooth,
three-dimensional.
I didn't have to wait for glue to dry.
Yeah, that's good.
So lots of fun things
waiting for
with
this
that.
to dry is the hardest part of this craft.
Yes.
And I have to force myself to walk away.
Yes, and like you said, put it in a pizza box or something on top of the fridge so that the cat can't walk through it.
Something with a lid. I think it's something, maybe they smell it and they want to come investigate and it sticks to them and they do not like it.
And then they're doing this little thing.
Oh yeah. They do not like it. No, they do not.
So this was what we did in the workshop. And then, since then, Debbie Cole was experimenting, and she did some, and hopefully you've seen her video on this, but I wanted to take these designs and show a little bit more. So Debbie discovered that with our pop-up die set, you get these incredible frame sets, right? So, take a look over here. If you wanted to create a jewelry piece that was kind of the size of a domino or this oval, you can use your dies for that, and you can cut thin or even the lightweight chipboard, so you can create as many layers as you think you want to build up whatever thickness you think makes a substantial enough piece.
Right.
And so, but then you can take it a couple of steps further, because in this case, I did the smaller inset for my Mona Lisa, and then I put it on a backdrop of another color, and you can do coordinating paper colors, or I die cut this glittery paper, and that's kind of fun.
Oh, that is fun.
So
that makes a nice background.
Yeah. And then here's an oval one where I started out with the really bright colors as the backdrop. But you might instead want to go the glittery route or something. And
glittery route is always good.
Yeah. So you can see it gets a totally different flavor there with one or the other.
Yeah.
So that was just stacking. But then the genius of what Debbie did was she taped the two pieces together, and I used the packing tape, and plopped the first one down. When you put the second one in, push it around as best you can until you get it as even all the way around as you can. Once you press it and tape it down, then you don't want the rest of it to be sticky. Just dust it with talcum powder.
Excellent.
Now I don't lose it either. It's kind of more visible. So using this, now I can cut out these rims. And whether you you have your base. It's all about the base.
It's all about the base.
Can we sing together?
Why not?
And then as many as you might want to create that rim. You can do whatever decorative paper or embossed or whatever on that top layer.
Or painting,
Yeah, paint it, do whatever different looks. Same thing with this one. And when you trim it, remember that that layer is going to cover around the edge. So I had to reposition it, for example, if you don't want to cut off words, you can kind of see where that's going to end up in the frame. So lots of very fun things. So these are just in pieces. You can see how it comes together. Over here, we'll revisit Debbie's beautiful pieces where she's finished off the edges.
I couldn't really get close to these at the show, so it's good that we have them back at the office here to get a good picture, because they are fantastic. And she said even if it was uneven, she would sand the edge on this so that it would be really even.
And whether you want to emboss it or take a metallic marker and go around the edges. And these are just beautiful, embossed. And then she's got ice resin sealing everything in on these.
Right.
And
Oh, they're just so
and then
elegant.
the butterfly. It's like, this is just gorgeous. And the wings can pop up for another layer.
And that's actually creative palette paper. She showed us how to do that in her video. So it's just beautiful.
Really nice. So anyway, you can see where this just goes and goes.
We're having more fun making jewelry here. I don't know.
And the thing was, I wanted to do this video because when I went to find any video that covered stamping, what inks, all of these different things, no one got their arms around the whole thing. Right, so now at least this gives you
we've got a good
overview perspective of it all.
I know. We're all going to make 100 things with jewelry.
It's so fun with jewelry.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Fran.
Okay.